So coming up in a few minutes, we're talking about
what exactly do we mean by ever-advancing civilization.
So stick around.
Welcome to Ever-Advancing Human Civilization. I'm Lynette.
And I'm Masoud. So as we mentioned, Lynette, we're talking about what exactly is ever-advancing human civilization. So Lynette, we were just talking that ever-advancing human civilization is not just a material thing, it's also a spiritual one.
Yes, obviously there are more aspects to it than just technological advances and advances in art and things like that, but also much more sort of human kinds of things that we need to progress in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just the cities that we build, it's not just the technology that we have, it's also the social aspect, it's the spiritual aspect.
How we are as a community, how we're improving ourselves, transforming our societies, cooperating, consulting, and so on and so forth. So it's something that's always evolving, that's always changing and always improving, so we're always making progress. And if we look at from the day of the first glimmerings of civilization, we can see that so much has changed. We've changed from being purely tribal and only looking after what was in our immediate family to becoming more of a global community today.
But why is it called ever-advancing civilization? What's this ever-advancing civilization?
Well, I think it relates to the idea that we're not static. Everything's dynamic in life. Everything changes. Language changes, so does civilization. We're always improving on what we have. If we didn't improve, we'd be in trouble.
I mean, everything, like you said, everything changes, nothing stays the same. So we're changing, like the sun and the solar system all developed throughout time, they advanced. So life on Earth also advanced, and us as
so does our understanding.
Exactly, our understanding, very good point, our understanding. Why do we need this, like in terms of us as human beings, why do we need that ever-advancing civilization?
I don't know exactly, but if you look at how we change in our own individual lives, like we change from being a baby to being completely dependent, to becoming independent, to going through a stage of adolescence where everything seems to be in turmoil, until we reach the stage of adulthood and maturity. So I think that civilization is very much the same thing. So it's gone from being very embryonic, you don't really see the effects of a civilization. And then collectively we're going through this as we progress through the years. And I think that at the moment, possibly, we're undergoing a collective adolescence because everything's in turmoil. And if we want it to change, we have to progress to the next stage. We actually have to become more mature, become more adult in our understanding. And that's where the spiritual component comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the quotes that that we released last week, earlier. So it was a quote from Baha'u'llah, and he says, "Man was created. All men have been created to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization." So to me, that says that
that's our purpose.
We were destined for it. Our purpose. That's why God created us and put us on this earth. So we advance.
And I think, when you think of it, we all have an impetus within us to improve. I think from generation to generation, our parents' generation want to see us improve in life. So I think that there is that sort of impetus to help us transform and make things better for the future generations as well. So it's something that is by nature, it's inborn into us. So that's why we want to explore other places. So we want to go into other continents or to space. That's what you'd like to do anyway.
I would love to go to space.
And I think that we can see the spiritual component as well. So as religion has evolved, we can see that every time there's a new revelation, that there's an infusion of new ideas. So and could be technological advances, could be an efflorescence of culture, of art, of music, of whatever it is. And we often see that when a new prophet appears on earth, and it could be anywhere, you know, it's been in many different places in the world. There have been advances in mathematics, in science, in art, in all sorts of spheres. And I think that with Baha'u'llah's revelation, what we are challenged now is to make advances in our spirituality, because we've learnt various things. So I think from the time of Moses, when he revealed the laws, that they were in need of very strict laws, so that they knew, you know, they had the guidance to behave and so on. And then
there was Jesus who brought the concept of loving each other.
Loving each other, forgiveness and compassion.
And Muhammad came to bring tribes together as a nation, and he also brought some, as a matter of fact, he brought some scientific facts.
That's right.
Into the, and this is, I think this is a very important point that we want to make in these videos, is that they're connected. So there's this notion that, you know, spirituality or like things of religion or things of God are separate from what we have here in the physical world. Whereas Baha'u'llah's teachings tells us no, they're the same reality.
Very connected,
They're very connected, they're the same reality. So that's why in one of the topics we discussed was the harmony between science and religions. They're the two wings of the same bird.
Very, really necessary to have that understanding, because if we're to evolve to the next stage where I think the need for the world today is that we feel that we're part of a global community, that we have this unity, that we eradicate prejudice of all kinds, that we have equality, that we get rid of the disparity between rich and poor. I mean, obviously we're looking at Baha'u'llah's revelation is going to last at least 1,000 years,
if not more.
If not more. And there is time for this to evolve. Obviously we don't have these things now, but this is what we're challenged to try and put in place, and it's happening. It is happening slowly.
So the question comes, so how do we advance? So we now have Baha'u'llah's revelation, so how do we do it? How exactly do we advance from here?
Yes, well, Baha'u'llah has given us a lot of guidance. So for example, you mentioned harmony between science and religion. There's also equality between men and women is a very important thing that has to be established.
So these are necessary components for us to advance.
Yes.
Otherwise we're missing out on something.
We need to have universal education. We all need to be able to speak the same language so we can communicate with one another, apart from our own mother tongue, which we are also supposed to develop and improve on. But you know, so there are various components like this that we need, and these will be the markers of our civilization advancing when we have achieved those aspects.
Oh, good point. So to conclude, how do we choose these topics? How do we choose these topics and then explore them in this video series?
Well, we've chosen things in the past that have to do with the basic principles that underlie and form the foundation of the Baha'i teachings, because this is the guidance that Baha'u'llah has given us, that these are the things we need to develop in order to bring about unity of the human race, in order to get across this idea that really there's only one God, there's only one religion, and that for these things to happen, for these things to be put in place, we need to concentrate on those particular components. So that's what we're choosing. We're choosing things like equality, harmony between science and religion, education of children,
elimination of prejudice.
Elimination
so that's
of
an
prejudice.
important one.
And you know, how do we bring about world peace and things like that. So that's what we're trying to explore, these principles and how they can be put into practice. So it's a very practical religion, because religion can't exist in a bubble, in isolation. It has to relate to our lives. It has to have some impact on our lives, but also lives that will come later.
So thank you for joining us. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to get notifications of our future videos, please click on the subscribe button. And until next month's video,
peace
and goodwill.